The governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, inaugurated new caretaker committee chairman for the 23 local government areas of Rivers State on Wednesday, 19th of June. The ceremony held at a government house in Port Harcourt, the state capital, and it sparked reactions that are still shaping the polity. This is Standpoint. I am Precious Amayo. On Tuesday, the 18th of June, Governor Fubara asked the heads of local government administration in the state to assume control of the 23 council areas in the state after expiration of their tenure in office. After sending the names of caretaker committee chairmen to the State House of Assembly for screening and confirmation, Governor Fubara said he resisted the pressure to extend the tenure of the outgone local government chairmen and councillors to avoid the state setting bad precedents in the country. A governor who spoke while inaugurating the caretaker committee chairman and members of the 23 local government councils at the Executive Council chambers of the Government House, Port Harcourt, said there was no way he would have allowed them to perpetuate themselves in office against their oaths. Governor Fubara urged the newly inaugurated local government caretaker committees to eschew violence, maintain peace, and be guided by the Constitution to promote unity, inclusive administration, and progress at the grassroots. The governor directed the Auditor General of Local Governments to commence the immediate audit of the accounts of the 23 council areas. He said the inauguration of the chairman would ensure seamless administration of local government areas following the expiration of tenure of elected chairmen and councillors. Despite the governor's directive, some of the former council chairmen reportedly attempted to resume office at the Secretariats, but they were chased away by youths. The development sparked political tension in the state as residents protested at some of the local government secretariats. Policemen fired multiple shots into the air to disperse protesters at the various council headquarters. Now, joining me to discuss this issue is the immediate past chairman of the Ikwerre Local Government area of Rivers State, Nwanosike, and he joins me via Zoom from Rivers State. We also have a legal practitioner, Heightens, who is joining me here in the studio. Good to have you, gentlemen.
Good day.
All right, so we will get to Nwanosike in just a moment, but let me start with you. I mean, you and a lawyer,
yes,
and an independent individual who was just following the things playing out in Rivers State. And as you watch what's going on, what do you make of it? Because there are different sides of it. At what point do you think that things started to change or turn, decide to turn the law on its head? I mean, that's the right word in Rivers State.
Yes, let me say this and make it clear. I'm not just an individual. I'm partly from Rivers State.
Okay, so you have
my mom is from Rivers State, from the Opobo area of Rivers State, and I was born in Rivers State. Okay, so but from Delta. Now,
so I'm speaking to a lawyer and a stakeholder.
Very well, very well. I identify with that region of the country, and that is one region that when you talk about the economic prowess after Lagos. It's Rivers State. So it's unfortunate that this is going on in Rivers State. And the puzzle started with the governor, the current governor and the outgoing governor. And that has snowballed into the local government issue because the issue of loyalty is still the underneath layer that is playing out in the dispute. Now, this local government chairman, their tenure has expired by efflution of time. Efflution of time is a principle in law. And when you take an oath of office for a certain time, in this case for 3 years, at the expiration of that time, you cannot elongate your stay. And their argument is that the State House of Assembly actually amended the law, okay? And as such, that amendment had extended their tenure of office by 6 months. Okay. They further argued that if you look at the Constitution, over the Constitution, there are times when the Constitution made this provision that where there's war and the government of the country is unable to, conduct election, there will be an extension, okay, by 6 months before they can take time to come. So they argued that the amendment the State House of Assembly did was in line with what is in the Constitution. And that was wrong because the Constitution singled out a situation of war, wherein you can have that, you are unable to conduct election. Well, in this case, there's no war anywhere, and you cannot elongate your stay. So, from our jurisprudence, it is impossible for the State House of Assembly to enact a law to elongate the stay of local government chairman. It's not done. Section 7 of the Constitution clearly states that the local government chairman will emerge through a democratic process. And that democratic process is election. And during election, the people donate their allegiance. They donate their mandate to the people who will govern them. And so they will come into office on the basis of a social contract between them and the people. Okay? Now, what you have on ground is after the efflution of time, their tenure has expired. What the governor said is that the administrators should take over. That is the same day. Only for the governor to now introduce this voyage of illegality again, because it is double illegality. I mean, this caretaker committee, it is not the intent of the legislature that, in that section 7, that people should emerge as caretaker committee or chairman of caretaker committee to run local government. It's an aberration. In fact, what the governor is doing now is not different from what the local government chairman, whose tenure has expired, the outgoing local government chairman, is not different from what they wanted to do. Because in both cases, both parties had the intention to violate the Constitution, to perpetrate their stay. One, for elongation, the other, an aberration. So the two are complete illegality. That should not be
all sides have breached or broken the law, you know, by your analysis.
Yes, they have broken the law because the Constitution never envisaged caretaker committee. Most governors do it, but it's wrong, okay? And it's wrong to the extent that when you have an extant law, you do not need any other procedure other than the extant law, okay? And let me say this, what the local government, outgoing local government chairman wanted to do, in the true sense of the law, was actually treasonable. Because what's the definition of treason? Where you make an attempt to take over the country through any other means other than election, to take over the country, only part thereof. In this case, they wanted to extend their stay. That's a part thereof. The River State is a part thereof. They wanted to extend their stay, and that was treason. That was why some other person started calling for a state of emergency. Okay, it's complete treason. So that should not happen. That is not also to condone the fact that the governor should now get caretaker. This caretaker committee chairman don't have the mandate of the people. They don't, okay? Sovereignty belongs to the people, through which government derive a legitimacy. So if you set up any form of government, whether at the local level or the state level, without the input of the people, I mean, they took an oath of office for a 3-year term. So if you extend that 3-year term, you'll be in violation of the oath of office. And there'll be violation of, because the people also who donated their mandate donated it for a 3-year term. So any attempt to extend it will mean setting the law aside for your own personal aggrandizement. So that is not allowed under any circumstance. Even the governors should know that they don't have, because the argument put forth for the case of the local government chairman was that if you look at the Constitution talks about a situation of war, you are unable to conduct election. Anywhere they conduct election in Nigeria, you notice that election is conducted some months before the expiration of the tenure of office. Sorry,
I just want to state that I understand that we have Mr. Nwanosike joining us now. We'll get to him in just a moment, but I want you to finish your thoughts. Before we get to him, I also want, because for those who are saying, we saw residents of River State, turn out, I think that was Monday or Tuesday, when that, crisis, went on at the different local governments, that, perhaps that's an indication of the support and the mandate of the people for the caretaker committee to come on. What would you say?
No, the caretaker committee couldn't have been the mandate of the people. Mandate is derived and orchestrated through elections. Okay? So how many persons are these people who came out to support the caretaker committee? They couldn't have represented the larger interest of the entire state. Okay, it should have been by election. So it is through election that you can ask. And the Constitution did not even make any mention of a caretaker committee. Okay? So it's by election that you emerge. And when you emerge, your tenure is for 3 years. That is what is known to law. What they have now is both sides. And they don't have any reason under which they failed to conduct or prepare for the conduct of an election. There was no reason whatsoever. They want to make reference to the Constitution. The Constitution saying in instances where there is war. In this case, there's no war, so there was no reason whatsoever. So they cannot rely on that provision of the Constitution. All
right. So let me get the thoughts of it. Let's bring in Mr. Nwanosike into the conversation. He has been introduced earlier. Thank you so much for joining us. He's going to speak, for the other local government chairmen who you have been talking about. Where do things stand now, Mr. Nwanosike? You had talked about, some days ago, you had said that, you are still the local government chairman of your local government. But as at now, where do things stand?
Leonard man that is on the studio for coming to join to air his view on this matter. My name is actually Dr. Nwanosike Samuel. As we speak, I'm still the executive chairman of Ikwerre Local Government by the laws made by Right Honorable Martins Amehuli's led assembly, going by the judgment of Justice Omotosho that has not been repealed by any superior court and was given by Justice Omotosho, standing on Section 272 of the Constitution of Nigeria that gives the Federal High Court the authority to talk about the tenure of House of Assembly members, vacation of their seats, deputy governor, and the governor of the state. Our learned senior is aware of the laws and the jurisdiction of Justice Omotosho's ruling. And while we are worried as citizens of Rivers State, our governor swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of Nigeria and to defend it, and to rule us as Rivers people with the rule of law and obedience to all court orders. But we are surprised that this judgment was given on the 24th of January, and I want to plead with you, if it's possible for your studio to please screen or roll out these orders of Justice Omotosho so that we can see the prayers that he granted. And one among those prayers is clear, that the Rivers State governor should not interfere with the activities of the Rivers House of Assembly because they are not in his whims and caprices. The Rivers State of Assembly is a creation of the law. Not like he was voted for by the people of Rivers State. They were also voted for on the same day. And so all he had was the power to pronounce the inauguration of the House, which he has exhausted. And we are surprised that people are not actually, especially our legal leaders, are quiet in what is happening in Rivers State. They are telling us to believe that the governor has the right to choose which of the court or which of the laws of court he should obey. I don't think that is democracy our forefathers envisaged in bringing our constitution. For instance, if the Justice Omotosho's ruling says clearly that don't interfere in activities of the Martins Amehuli's led assembly, wherever they want to sit, allow them sit, because you did not provide security to defend their complex, you allowed it to become bombs, and you destroyed it yourself. Everybody saw on national television where the governor stood in front of bulldozers and pulled down the Rivers State House of Assembly hallowed chamber. And so now, if the House of Assembly since 24th of January 2024 have seen that the governor refused to present a budget to them, and he has been spending Rivers State money, even Justice Omotosho said, you cannot present a budget of almost $1 trillion to four-man assembly that does not exist. These are four guys that when this crisis in the House of Assembly happened, Edison Ehie, the leader of the House, was impeached on that day. The other three members, Oko Jumbo, who is parading himself as an alternative speaker now, was also suspended from the House indefinitely. Good Hope Sokari, who is parading himself as a deputy, as a leader of the House now, was also suspended on that same day. The other fellow from the governor's local government was also suspended on that same day. Their suspensions have not been challenged. The House has not sat back to record them, like recently in the Senate. A senator from the North was suspended from the Senate. But the House looked at it, the Senate looked at it, and forgave him, and he has been called back. It's a legislative procedure. The governor cannot be the governor and the legislature at the same time. So if the governor feels that he can, through a press conference, he has provided executive order that House of Assembly to come and sit in the government house, and so he will sit down there and tell us that three-man assembly, even when Edison has withdrawn his case from court and said, I am no more speaker. I was not speaker ab initio. I have resigned as a member of the National Assembly. I have been made chief of staff of the government. Now there are 3 members. You're telling Nigerians to believe that 3 members should pass our budget, 3 members should screen and swear in an attorney general, 3 members should bring in commissioner. This House of Assembly led by Martin Samewule is the authentic and by the judgment of Justice Omotosho. The judgment of Omotosho went further to say, you must conduct local government election. The judgment of Omotosho went ahead to say, you must not have caretaker. The judgment of Omotosho said that the laws made by Martin Samewule are the legitimate laws of Rivers State.
Dr. Nwanosike, if I may come in just a minute. You have talked about how the governor seemed to be cherry-picking on the laws that he wants to respect or judgment that he wants to respect. Some people will also say the same thing, that you and the local government chairman are also cherry-picking, because there is also another high court judgment by, I think that's Dakatima Kyo, who talked about it, and that was in May. And she nullified the 6-month tenure allegation of the state's local government chairman granted by Martin Samewule, led House of Assembly. So that's also another judgment. How is it that you are not also choosing to respect that, but you are choosing that of Omotosho?
Hold on. That was an interim injunction that even our leader that knows that he has a lifespan as a fair. And so even before we talk about that, a judgment that was given by Omotosho in January 24th, and the governor did not appeal it. From January to May, it comes to a state high court that has no jurisdiction to get an interim injunction to create crisis in Rivers State. I don't understand, even as a presenter, does it make sense to you? Let the level colleague tell Nigerians as a lawyer that is what he was taught in law school, that if a judgment came in January, you did not implement it, you did not obey it. Meanwhile, when that Omotosho judgment came, the governor obeyed. The governor sent lists to the Martin Samewule House of Assembly to screen commissioners. The same governor said that he will obey laws. I was inviting the House of Assembly. They were relating properly. We have no problem. So why wait till May, from January to May? All he needed to conduct local government election was a 90 days notice to share. The question is why? But as I'm talking to you now, because he has seen that the federal government has sent have gone to Supreme Court, for Supreme Court to do that interpretation, he has quickly come to say he wants to conduct election in October, first week of October. So why all this crisis? Why orchestrate the crisis? Not or even to, let's even go ahead to say, even in the same state high court, Justice Bassam gave a complete court ruling, not an interim injunction like a Kyo and a Wali gave. He gave a ruling and said, you people have approached me that Martin Samewule and 27 others seats to be vacated because they have left their political party. But before me, you have not presented any evidence to say they have left. PDP is here in court, saying they are still their members and they are in their register. APC is in court, said we have not gotten any letter from them. We have not even seen them come to register. They are still members of PDP. Based on that, Martin Samewule is the legitimate speaker of the House of Assembly, and all laws made by him are legitimate. So where have the local government chairmen gone wrong? We are just obeying. And again, the local government law is the law arranging our activities in Rivers State. Even going by the tenor our legal leader is saying there. Don't forget, before 1999, local government chairman tenure were 4 years. It was some governors that wanted to take control of the third tier that went through the House of Assembly, mark my word, through the House of Assemblies, and amended tenors. Some states have 2 years tenure, while some states have 3 years tenure. When you do an election, the normal tenure is supposed to be 4 years. But because of their personal aggrandizement and control, they want to control Mr. President, they want to also come back and control the third tier. This is not democracy. So we are saying, the Rivers House of Assembly led by Martin Samewule has set the ball rolling. And our tenure still has 5 months and 26 days running. And we are doing our best to make sure that we govern the people of our local government by the rule of law. We don't want crisis. For now, all matters are in the Court of Appeal in Port Harcourt. And they have asked everyone to maintain status quo. And again, the Inspector General of Police and the CP have said all parties stay calm, cease all hostilities, don't take any step until Court of Appeal rules this matter. And that is what we are. All of a sudden, we saw the governor and his chief of staff bring that criminals and cultists that have left Rivers State so long to come and start invading council. A chief of staff who is being fingered in burning down the House of Assembly is busy moving in 1 day with security agents attached to the governor's ADC that led to the death of a police officer and a vigilante chairman.
Dr. Nwanosike, we're very wary of allegations and speculations that we cannot substantiate, especially when it's against individuals. Just a minute, Dr. Nwanosike. I want the lawyer to respond to some of the things you have said as regards the two cases in court. One of them, Mr. Evans Ufeli, one of them had been, there is judgment already.
Yes.
That's the one of the local government tenure elongation.
Yes, in the Court of Appeal now.
And the other one is the one in the Court of Appeal. So there are two of them. One that has to do with the tenure elongation, and the other one that has to do with the legitimacy of the Amayo-led State House of Assembly. I want you to respond to those two laws and which one really concerns this particular matter of the local government.
Yes. Justice Omotoso judgment has to be talked about too, ma'am. Please.
Yes. As regards the issue under reference, we have seen that both sides, from what I have deduced from the case, that is why early enough I said that the governor was wrong to have come up with the caretaker committee. Now, the State House of Assembly members, okay, also cannot elongate and entrench themselves by virtue of the provision of law. They cannot do that. Now, on the issue of the elongation of their office, which is now a question of appeal right now, there was a judgment already that said that you cannot actually extend your office. That is constitutionally wrong to do so. And it went on appeal. That appeal is yet to be determined. Okay? It's yet to be determined.
He's also referring to another one that was in January that had talked about, not interfering in the whole local government administration until election conduct. So
yes. The court even gave an order that the governor should, ensure that election is conducted to fill in the space, okay, after the expiration of the tenure. That was not done, and that was the undoing of the governor. Because by now, you ought to have conducted the election 3 months before the expiration.
So because I really also want us to take, in, because we really have to look at it in terms of what the law actually says, if any law has been breached. Because Dr. Nwanosike is saying, if you did not conduct elections in that period since January where, that judgment was given,
yes,
and then we are still well within our right to stay in office.
No, that would be wrong. If you look at the Constitution, the only reason the Constitution gave is when there's a time of war and you're not able to conduct elections. Then they can remain in office for a period. Okay? The State House of Assembly, led by Amayo, now amended the local government law to the effect, like a semblance of what you have in the Constitution. But the only thing now that is not there is the issue of war. I don't know what I'm saying.
I do.
So now what you have now, the State House of Assembly is now saying, for whatsoever reason, as long as you do not conduct election within the set time, the local government chairman will have to be in office for 6 months until you're able to conduct election and all that. You understand? So, but that is not the law, because the State House of Assembly itself does not have that capacity to elongate the tenure of their office. It cannot. It doesn't have the right to do so under the law. It can't do so because the Constitution in Section 7 said that you will emerge as a local government chairman by virtue of a democratic election, democratically. And what democracy means here is that it does not mean you should extend the only reason given by the Constitution, not even related to local government, but related to other offices, House of Assembly, National Assembly, and the rest of that. That's the one the Constitution reference. As for the local government, there is no time. It is stated in law that they should have an elongation. Even the National Assembly and the House of Assembly, they cannot also have an elongation, except there's war, and that the government is unable to conduct election within the period. So that is where the whole thing is different. So in this case, it is wrong for the State House of Assembly to make a law to elongate, and that is why the court quashed that law and said it's not constitutionally right.
All right. So, Dr. Nwanosike, I want you to respond to the lawyer. He has said that your decision to stay in office is not backed by any law, any of the judgment, but by the decision or it was a decision, or some sort of I think that was a decision from the Amayo-led Assembly to elongate your tenure by 6 months, which in itself the lawyer says is an illegality. How do you respond to that?
First of all, I don't know if the lawyers are aware that before 1999, local government administrations in Nigeria had a 4-year term.
That's correct.
Good. Now, that it was the instrumentation of the various House of Assembly in Nigeria that went back because of the intention of some governors who want to use local government as an instrument to keep themselves in office, to amend the laws of those tenures, to bring them from states now, as we talk in Nigeria, have 2 years as tenure of local government chairman. Some states have 3 years as tenure of local government chairman. So, going by what the lawyer is saying, he is aware that Section 7.1 did not mention specifically how many months, how many years that is there for the tenure. It is in the wings and capacities of the House of Assembly. That is why in Zamfara State, the Zamfara State House of Assembly has extended the tenure of the local government chairman because the governor is saying, based on insecurity, I can't conduct local government election. It's there. Even in Akwa Ibom State, the House of Assembly has extended the tenures of the local government chairman by 6 months. So I think our learned leaders will address us properly, putting every ingredient together. For us,
in those cases, nobody has gone to court. Yours have been quashed.
Excuse me, sir. Let me finish. No, excuse me. You should add. An interim injunction was given by Kio because somebody was in a court, in Justice Welly's court, without joining us. They asked us to join. We joined. They left the case, parties the same, matters the same, everybody the same, and ran away and went to another state court, behind the door, without joining us, and gave an order. We now have come again through our lawyers in Court of Appeal, saying, in this law that you passed, it has steps, Section 8 of the Constitution. Go to it, you will see. It's only one leg of it. We have filed a state of execution in Court of Appeal. And Court of Appeal, I think, head of, have given 7th of July and said all parties maintain status quo. Don't do anything. Let the lawyer tell us if we are illegal to remain in office. And he has agreed that the governor failed in conducting local government election and he cannot bring caretaker. Because even the case filed by the Attorney General of the Federation in the Supreme Court, it is stated there that caretaker is illegal and should not be formed in any state. And local government chairman tenure should not be tampered by governors. That is what the Attorney General, the prayer is asking for. All parties are presented and judgment have been reserved by the Supreme Court. Why will the governor create crisis in our state? By bringing criminals and thugs to invade local government councils. In fact, the governor went ahead of seizing our allocation 3 months before now, even while we were in office. He withheld our allocation and told his Attorney General to write on the back to bypass our signatory. As we speak, we worked for 3 months before even the 17th of June without a penny. That is not the democracy our founding fathers prayed for. And that's why we are commending Mr. President for taking the bold step of going the right route by going to the Supreme Court, the Constitutional Court. Let this be interpreted once and for all. And let Nigeria have true democracy of the treaty we are asking for.
All right, so the lawyer wants to respond to some of the things you said, Mr. Ufeli.
Yes, in the 2 states he mentioned where there's an extension of the tenure of the local government, nobody had gone to court to challenge it. Okay? The court will not jump into it. In Rivers State, when the State House of Assembly did that, made that amendment, somebody went to court, okay? And that amendment was quashed. And the principle of law is this: even if you are going on appeal, the last judgment or ruling delivered is the law until the appeal is determined. Okay? So, on the basis of that, he cannot say that their tenure still runs. It's not possible to say so, because the last ruling or judgment on the issue under reference had quashed the decision of the State House of Assembly. So how would that subsist when there is a substantive ruling against it? Okay? As regards the local government tenureship and all that, the federal government is in court, which for me I consider as one of the most fortunate news of the Nigerian state today, because the governors of state have been very arbitrary with local government. I must say this. Okay. Governors of state used to wind up arbitrary, democratically elected local government tenures. They'll wind it up and bring caretaker committee legally. They will not release the funds meant for local government just because Section 162 of the Constitution made a joint account provision. And so they are not able to recognize the local government as a third tier of government. They will make sure that the local government have no life of its own. And then the federal government now is in court to say that the local government must exist as an entity, must have its independence and autonomy, and must, function as a government, just like the state government and the federal government. We are yet to get a decision on that one. But in the interim, okay, the last decision on this Rivers State matter is that the State House of Assembly have no such right. So that is the law for now, until that's
all right. So I will let you respond, Dr. Nwanosike. We need to go to break. When we return, I will give you the right of reply. Let's take a break now. When we return, Standpoint continues. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Standpoint. We're still speaking with a lawyer, Mr. Evans Ufeli, and a former local government chairman of Ikwerre Local Government in Rivers State. I know he's going to argue that he's not former, but that's where we are this moment. Thank you both gentlemen. Dr. Samuel Nwanosike, thank you both gentlemen for staying with us. Now, you were going to respond to the lawyer earlier before we went on break, Dr. Nwanosike.
Legal there is forgiven because he's probably speaking based on information available to him. I just stated at the beginning of this show, the last judgment that came in the State High Court was given by Justice Massan. Justice Massan was approached by the governor's team to try to set aside, to vacate the seats of the 27 lawmakers. They on their own approached Justice Massan. Because before now, they were just in their beer parlor at their houses, mounting that, eventually they have defected, so their seats are automatically declared vacant, without knowing that somebody needs to go to court and court needs to make a formal pronouncement. So when it dawned on them that Section 109 is saying clearly that even if you have an issue and you don't set it in action, nothing will come out of it. So in course of doing that, Justice Masana said, before me, I have no evidence that these men have defected to any political party. So they are still members of the House of Assembly. And all laws made by them, this is weeks after Kyo has tried to struck out that law, all laws made by them are valid for the people of Rivers State. That is why when we went to Court of Appeal that has said all parties maintain status quo, we also filed stay of execution on that Kyo's matter. It is there. That is why the Court of Appeal is saying, wait, we have had all matters, we have reserved this for judgment, we will give our judgment on it. Then, after which steps can be taken. So we are asking that on this instance now, when the House of Assembly, like everybody knows, the local government law of Rivers State is passed by Rivers State House of Assembly, and that is the law that we use to run all our activities, our day-to-day activities. In fact, it's the House of Assembly that is even our original supervisor. So when they make laws, we obey those laws. They create how we run our account. They create who hold offices and offices we appoint to, term of those people and what will form our activities. They also make sure that the bylaws we make, when we make them, we bring them for gazetting at the House of Assembly. So I don't know where local government chairman has made mistake obeying the laws made by Manchester Hule, with Justice Omotosho. And I find it worrying. Why whenever we talk about Justice Omotosho, lawyers don't want to ask, why did the governor not go to appeal that matter? Why is the governor running away from the rule of court during 24th of January? Why? Why is he deciding to choose to come to a court that has no jurisdiction as pronounced by his Attorney General, who came and said the state high courts have no jurisdiction to talk about tenures of city House of Assembly members, deputy governor, and governor. He said so in his press conference. So, sir, please guide us properly because you went to law school. We didn't go to law school.
So, Ufeli, he has raised an issue. There is a direct judgment on the tenure elongation, which is very direct, is quashed. It cannot go on. But there is another judgment, which he says one of the prayers is that of the, it's hinged on the legitimacy of the Martins Amayo-led assembly and the laws that they have made. And that the judgment is that, all laws they have made, at that moment, maintain status quo. So does that, now override the earlier judgment of Kyo, who has said, no, this is illegal, don't go on with the tenure elongation?
No, the truth is that the judgment from Motosho came before. Okay? Now, the judgment from Joshua Motosho legitimized the State House of Assembly, okay, the current State House of Assembly, and went further to say all laws made by them are legal, to understand, which will presuppose that, including the one for elongation of the tenure, right? That's what you're asking. If you say all, you understand?
No. There's the last one made by Justice Massam. The last one. That's the last one.
He's talking about the very recent one.
The very recent.
Yes, the most recent by Justice Massam.
Okay.
The State High Court.
Yes, by the State High Court, fine.
That one is a ruling of court.
Yes.
Not interim injunction from Kyo. An interim injunction for Wele, which have lifespan of 7 days. It's a ruling of court that is in the matter we are talking about.
Yes, it's a ruling that have a lifespan of 7 days. Okay. But even when you have a ruling that have a lifespan of 7 days, has it been vacated?
That is why we are Court of Appeal. And Court of Appeal have said all parties maintain status quo.
That's what I'm asking you. That ruling, has it been vacated? You see, because you took an oath of office. Let me ask you, the oath of office you took was for how many years?
3 years.
As a look. Now, by a fluxion of time, you have expended the 3 years. And you are still saying you are the chairman. So, you see, the truth is that you came in through a democratically elected election, government, okay? People voted for you. They gave you their mandate. You took an oath of office to represent them for the next 3 years. Now you are telling them now that you have a right to extend it and stay beyond that because your State House of Assembly amended the law, which they have no powers to amend. So that's what we are saying.
No,
that because we are leaders. See, I'm not.
Just a minute.
I don't have any interest. I don't have any interest.
Just a minute, Dr. Nwanosike.
I don't have any
interest.
You respond.
Let him land on his thought.
I don't have any interest
Go ahead.
in this whole thing. I don't have any interest in this whole thing. In fact, my only connection with Rivers State is that my mom's from Rivers State, and that's all. I don't do Rivers politics and all that. I'm not in any of the matter. But what I'm saying is that I just asked him a question now. The oath of office you took was for how many years? He said 3 years. Have you expended the 3 years? Yes. So why do you still say you are the chairman of the local government? When you have your tenure has expired, we must allow peace to reign in Rivers State.
I know you've spoken to the legality of, or the right of the House of Assembly to make that law. You have said, in fact, that law in itself of the tenure allegation is illegal.
It's illegal.
But if that is part of the prayer that the Court of Appeal will decide on, is there any legitimacy in their remaining in office?
No, you cannot preempt the Court of Appeal. You have to stick to what the last ruling on the matter.
Exactly, because one of the challenges that they are also having is interpretation of maintained status quo. And everybody is wondering what was the last decision? What is status quo?
The status quo is the last decision that they have no powers. They have no powers. The State House of Assembly have no power to elongate the tenureship of local government. That is the status quo. Because you are on appeal to tell the Court of Appeal that the court beneath erred in law. Okay? The Court of First Instance erred in law. And you have your particulars of error and all that. And you are saying that the Court of Appeal should rule otherwise. And now they're saying, go and maintain the status quo first. The status quo Anton Bellon. That is where you were before you came to me. That is the status quo. So there's nothing that is confusing about it.
All right. So, Dr. Nwanosike, two issues. You have said that you took an oath, and lawyers have said, look, your oath lasts for the number of years or duration of time for which you took it, and that it cannot be extended. I want you to also react to that, because the issue here is the oath that you took and for how many years, and that the House of Assembly has no right to extend it. And then number two, the governor has also now said that the Attorney General of the state will begin to probe local government accounts. I also want you to respond to that. So those are two issues.
First of all, the issue of the probe, we're not afraid of probe. Because, in fact, we want the probe to happen so that the world will know the truth of what has happened to the Jack Akati since he became governor of Rivers State. Because he's the one that gives us whatever he feels like. We know what comes in. We go to Jack meeting. We are blindfolded. We are not told anything. We are given the handout they give to us. Because of peace, we'll carry on. So let the probe come. It will help the administration that will come after us. So that all this truth and lies will be told to the public. But in answering the first question, I am saying that maintain status quo before we went to Court of Appeal was that I'm a local government chairman. And the Masamewule laws made by him, as stated by Justice Bassam, the last ruling of court, 3 weeks after Q tried to shoot down that law, they went to court unknown to them and created the opportunity. Justice Bassam has said all laws made, and these are courts of coordinate jurisdiction, state high courts, state high court. So I say all laws made by the Masamewule-led assembly are legal. And instead of saying this House of Assembly is the one that reduced this local government chairman tenure, if our tenure were not reduced for 4 years, what I'll be saying is I was elected as a local government chairman for 4 years. But they went to the House of Assembly before now, amended our laws to make it 3 years. See, a man that has the power to hire has the power to fire. The lawyers are aware. The same man that had the power to reduce our tenure for 4 years is the one that said, because the governor did not present budget, and the governor has failed in conducting local government elections, we don't want vacuum and we don't want caretaker. Chairman, please do us a favor and stay in office. Let's see if the governor will have a change of heart and conduct election. Now the governor has fixed October as election. So it's good. Within this period, we will be here. We'll conduct the local government election. Everybody will hand over to the elected local government and walk away. So let the lawyer please. Theo's judgment is not the last judgment. That's the point I'm trying to make. And he has said,
and Dr. Nwanosike,
the amount of such judgment, hold on, man, let me finish. The amount of such judgment that came in January, why is the governor not obeying it? Why did he leave the Federal High Court's order from the Motosho to come and shop for interim injunctions at the state high courts? Why? If he's not the one looking for the crisis to create the crisis in the state.
Dr. Nwanosike, you have said that. I want to go back to a statement you just made and get clarity. You said the man who has the power to hire also has the power to fire. I want to be sure of what that means.
Yeah, what it means by my statement is that the Rivers State House of Assembly is the one that reduced the tenures of local government in Rivers State from 4 years to 3 years. They did it. Go back to our laws. The lawyers are aware. Before 1999, it was a 4-year term for every local government chairman, just as you have for governors, just as you have for president. And that's why we are praying that the Supreme Court should reverse everything to the normal. Local government chairmen should be allowed to function 4 years at the same. In fact, they should go further to say.
But you were not hired by the by the House of Assembly. You were hired by the people.
Yes.
It's through election and not through not through legislative business. Just a minute, and the people. Just a minute. The people hired you for 3 years, and if they say that, look, we hired you for 3 years, your time is up. Should it be the House of Assembly that would say, no, we want him more, we want him for more, six months more? Shouldn't that come from the people and not the House of Assembly through elections?
Good, ma. The House of Assembly or the National Assembly are the people of Nigeria or the people of Rivers State in democracy. That's why they are called constituencies. Go and check our books. The people can speak through their legislators. And the legislators that's why we have 32 constituencies in the Rivers State House of Assembly. It is not a one-man show. It is the people, and that is why we are obeying them. Because the House of Assembly, they are the people. It is in their wisdom to say, we don't want vacuum in office. Like he mentioned, 7.1 of our constitution is clear. The only thing close to the right thing to be done now is that these people who are here already elected, enjoying the mandate of the people, do us a favor. Stay and let the governor conduct the election. Then the newly elected people will come in.
Nwanosike, again, I want to come into this conversation. Again, apologies for butting in. But you have talked about, people speaking through their House of Assembly representatives. That's the power of the constituency. But we do not run a parliamentary system of government. We run a presidential system of government where people go to the elections to vote. In a parliamentary system of government, most times you will see that the president is then elected by the parliament. You assume that that's, is the voice of the people. But in our own kind of government, it's the people themselves who speak at the ballot. And so to elect, their local government chairman, isn't that what should be happening in this particular case and not tenure allegation?
No, I think you're missing it on. Listen, legislature, whether in presidential or parliamentary system, is the voice of the people. That is one. Legislature is the people.
Even in elections?
Yes. No, the elections of the legislators are done by the people. You are there to do the check and balances of the executive. You are there to make sure our voices are heard. That's why they hold town hall meetings. That is why they go to constituency visits and get the views of the people. The point I am making is that no governor can go and reduce the tenure of an elected local government chairman without going to the House of Assembly. And so if the House of Assembly has the power to say, I reduce your tenure from 4 years to 3 years, same House of Assembly also has the power to say, if there is crisis, I can increase your tenure by 3 months. I can increase it by 6 months. But in truth, we are not interested in perpetuating ourselves in office. But we want our governor to govern us by the rule of law. Because we are not in a military regime where the governor will sit in the comfort of his office and release an executive order asking a 3-man suspended assembly members to come and sit as assembly in the government house. And the governor will say that he allowed the assembly to float because he wants to. Is that democracy? So the point you are making is that all these crises would have been averted if the governor, hearing the ruling of Justice Omotosho on 24th of January 2024, to say, okay, from that day to day, I have more than 9 months to give notice of election and conduct election. Governor sits down in government house and write list of elected chairmen. We know. So you could have actually gotten what you wanted without creating this crisis.
So if the governor, I want to come to the lawyer as we begin to wrap, but I just want to ask you, if the governor did not obey, you have said, according to you, that the governor did not obey the ruling of Justice Omotosho. But there is also another ruling that people will say you are also not obeying. And so if you are saying the governor did not obey one, shouldn't you have also obeyed that of Kyo just at least to allow peace reign in Rivers State?
The matter of Kyo, we have filed what they call a stay of execution in the Court of Appeal, even before Justice Massam gave the ruling he gave. So we are even standing on Justice Massam's ruling to say the Kyo's statement can't stand because Justice Massam has said, since these people are still members of the House of Assembly, all laws made by them are in the good interest of Rivers State. All laws. So they need to go to a Court of Appeal to vacate Justice Massam's ruling.
All right, let me bring the conversation to the lawyer. I mean, it's not just Rivers State. Rivers State has now become the 18th state in the federation that is running on caretaker committee. We've seen, I mean, he's mentioned that you have also mentioned those 2 states who have also, done a elongation of tenure for their local government chairman. Is there perhaps, a way? I know that there are these cases now also in court, in Supreme Court. We've seen the judgment in 2021. I think it was for Ekiti State as well, at the Supreme Court. What is the problem? Is it that there is a loophole that the governors are taking advantage of, or it's a problem of implementation? And how should this be averted?
The problem started from the Constitution, okay? Because the Constitution made the local government almost like an appendage of the executive governor by giving it a joint account in Section 162. Didn't distinct it properly. If you look at Section 7, okay? The local government is also supposed to be designated proper so that we will not be having these issues you have now. The interference of the executive in the local government is a problem we have here.
Well, in this case, it's both the executive and the legislature who are now interfering. So
both the legislature and the executive.
Drawn?
Yeah, because they are the legislature, the function, Section 4 of the Constitution, is there to make laws for the good governance of the state. Okay, you understand? Now, in this case, like what he said now, he said that in representative government, okay, the legislature is actually the mouthpiece of the people to the extent that they will come up with bills, they will pass send to the president for his assent, and you have that. But when it comes to representation of the people at any level, it is the people that have the right to renew that authority. So he is saying that whoever has power to hire can fire. In this case, it is not true. It is not true because when it comes to representation at local government level, the people will do the hiring. Even his own, the legislature, the people also hires and they can recall them, can fire them too. It's just that democracy at state level, the legislature at state level is almost dead. The parliament, that's legislature at state level, they are as weak as the state governor have made the local government weak. Because most times, how many times have you seen the legislature sit in a state to impeach a governor or make an attempt to take a governor down where it's found of gross misconduct? It was only in 1999, 2000, the early days of our Fourth Republic. Today, you don't see any of that. Now, that of the local government is even worse because by virtue of the fusion, they made the local government look at what the current governor of Rivers State is doing. There's an order that you should go and conduct election. You left that, stayed back, went to do other things. Now you are bringing a caretaker committee, having lost time. So the truth is that we should all wrap up this to the extent that the Court of Appeal will make further clarification on the case under reference.
And I just want to give about 30, because we have just a minute left, I want to give 30 seconds to Dr. Nwanosike. What next for you and the other local government chairmen as you await the ruling of the Court of Appeal?
Taking a step that we consider that a saving grace, because by now we don't know how many people would have still been on the surface earth, based on what the governor and his chief of staff and those with him have been doing with the resources of our states, attacking local government chairmen, chasing them out of office, shooting at people and all the rest.
Again, I would like you to refrain from weighty allegations and speculations against any individual.
We have evidence to show. And so
until we see those evidence, we will not allow you to
your reporters have them. Your reporters on ground, they have them. It's on social media, it's online, you have them. We have evidence. A policeman is dead. A policeman is dead and a vigilante chairman is dead. So we have evidence. These are not things you can sweep under the carpet. The only chief of staff moves from one local government to over 13 to 12 12 to 13 local government. We
do have to leave it there. I said I have a minute.
We will wait for the Court of Appeal to settle this matter. If we proceed to Supreme Court, we proceed. Whichever party. For us, by law abiding, we will obey the IG and the CP. We will wait for that matter to be resolved at the Court of Appeal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me just say that what our reporter has is the events of what happened that day and not evidence against anyone. But thank you so much for your time. We're also following through with this development to see how it plays out, especially the judgment of the Court of Appeal. Thank you for your time, former local government chairman of Ikwerre Local Government, Rivers State.
Chairman, not Samuel, chairman of
we'll wait for the Court of Appeal.
Chairman of Ikwerre Local Government. Thank you.
Dr. Samuel Nwanosike and also lawyer Heightens Ufeli, thank you so much for your time as always.
You're welcome.
That standpoint, remember you can watch the repeat broadcast at 11 p.m. tonight and 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. I am Precious Amayo. Thanks for watching.